Hey guys, John here. So today we're in Avenger 2, and today let's play around with noise a little bit. Now, I know we like using noise maybe for some transients, things like that. Maybe sending it through a comb filter, that's always a lot of fun. But who knows where else we can go from here. So what we can do is, we have no plan, we're just going to kind of make some noise stuff, maybe some wind or some weird creepy effects. So let's go to Initialize, and we're in a fresh patch. We have a saw wave. Now we can clear out all of these bars. So we press something, we have nothing. So this noise is going to be our oscillator. So we can move it left and right for the volume, and then the right click is going to change our noise type. So for now, maybe we can start something like that. Okay, so yeah, let's give it some release. Okay, so some of the most two creative knobs, obviously, like it always is the cutoff and the resonance, right? So if we got this LFO, we kind of map this to here. Maybe let's put this somewhere in the middle. And then in the mod matrix, maybe about that much range, but let's change this here to smooth random and bring the offset up here. And change this to hertz to maybe slow this down. So something like that. And maybe for the noise, let's go to stereo. So it's kind of random. It's just doing whatever it wants to do. And the resonance is cool too. I might even put that on the same knob here. So since this is on in positive territory, so it's a unipolar LFO, we can probably use the same one. Sometimes it might be nice to use another one with a different speed, but you know, for now, let's just put this here and drag and drop there and give it a little bit of depth here. So we kind of have that motion. Now, sometimes what's kind of cool is when things move like that, it's kind of cool to control the speed of things like that. So if we're here in our LFO, what we could do is maybe drag and drop this macro to this rate here. So we can maybe give it a little bit like that. So with this macro, we can now control like how fast that wind or whatever that sound is going to be. So that might be kind of cool. The drive is going to be interesting as well because it almost gives us, like, obviously the drive distortion, but it kind of makes the, you listen. So maybe that might be cool to put on a macro as well. So this first one, let's put in speed, something kind of like that. Maybe the second one, we're going to put this on drive. So maybe, I guess we'll just call it drive for now. We can always change it and give us some depth. That might be kind of cool. Okay. So we have this basic thing. Now I kind of want to, I guess, carve the sound a little bit. So we can go to an EQ, open this guy up. That might be kind of cool. And then maybe compress this too. Okay, so maybe now is the time where I kind of want to change the noise profile because it's a little bit too white noisy. So maybe if we did. Okay, we're kind of getting somewhere, maybe a little bit more release. And what we could do is, well, maybe it might be kind of interesting to pan this as well. So with that same LFO, maybe we can put it on the pan and then maybe, you know what? Actually, let's not use that LFO, actually. Let's close that. Let's use another LFO. Let's drag and drop this on the pan because we do want a bipolar signal for that and maybe also random and take it off sync. Maybe, yeah, let's give it a little bit more of that. And it would be kind of cool to control that speed as well. So remember that this first macro is going to be controlling the first LFO speed, so this guy. So maybe on the second one, we can do the same thing and just give it a little bit like that. Maybe a little less depth, I think, for this guy. Maybe bring that down just a bit. Okay, so we're kind of making something interesting here. So next we can add a little bit of delay. A good amount of feedback. Bring up the output gain for the compressor too. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And we also do want to add some reverb as well. I do really like, so if we go into the Rotaverb and we change the type here to Abyss, we get some really cool sound here. Yeah, that tail is pretty amazing. That was just one I pressed here. Watch, take a listen to this again. It's still going. It's still doing its thing. Maybe we don't want too much decay. Maybe we can bring this back a little bit. But yeah, so that this Abyss type is really cool. Definitely recommend to play with this, especially if you're doing kind of like ambient stuff or pads. Definitely try out that algorithm there. Okay, so now here's another cool trick with things like that, because there's a lot of notches and things like that that kind of happen. Now, we can do that with some EQs. Maybe we'll do that as well. But what I do want to try for this here, and what's crazy about Avenger as well, not to mention all the filters and the master filter and all that, but we can put an insert here on the effects, which is another group of filters. But anyway, so what we want to do for this guy here, maybe we can select this filter type, and maybe for the band stop, we can go to the vintage band stop 12. Okay, so this one would kind of be cool to use with another LFO. So let's grab this LFO and maybe drag here, maybe bring this down a little bit. And again, this one is going to be a random thing. So let's go to the random one. And, you know, we can actually do this bipolar and bring this kind of maybe around here. That's fine. Let's see what that sounds like here. Yeah, so all those like, yeah, so that's what that is well. So let's try this again. Let's actually try this with a with an EQ and kind of see how that works as well. Okay, so we can open this guy up, and if we, maybe we can do something like this, some tight curves like that, because we're basically doing this here. So we have this band doing that. I guess we can use this one as well, and maybe tie this one up super tight like that. And this is LFO 3, I believe. So let's bring this guy and do the same thing with this guy. So if this is kind of too steep, what we can do as well is we can kind of maybe bring the gains up of these just a little bit. And maybe for this guy, so LFO3 is cut off, so maybe this guy we can bring down the depth a little bit. Okay, so we kind of have a pretty cool stack here. It's kind of like a wind thing or making some kind of ambient, I don't know, environment, right? So what we can do is we can go to the master filter, and this could be kind of a cool knob to kind of control everything. And this one pole low pass 6 is kind of nice here, this first guy, because it's very smooth, it's kind of organic, it's not really too crazy, it's just transparent and nice. So this one is kind of perfect. I don't really want to change this guy. So maybe we can put this on the third macro, and maybe if we turn this up all the way, kind of see how much room we want to have. I guess we could open up everything like that. Maybe not. That's kind of too closed off there. Okay, so that's kind of fun there. So let's put macro 3 as, I guess, let's see, what do we call this? Main filter? I guess filter. I don't know. Lack of a better term, filter. So we can also adjust and add some more things. So maybe it might be cool to have maybe the bit byte. That might be kind of cool. And what we can maybe do is if we have... No, actually, that might be kind of nice. Okay, so this is 112 for the wet. So if we go to 0, let's grab a button and put this on the wet there. So maybe it was a 112 or something like that. Or let's see, put it like that, 200. No, let's go once. I don't know, decisions. Let's bring it down. I guess that's kind of cool. So if we have this in there, we turn this off, it's going to go to 0. Yeah, I mean, that might be kind of interesting, I suppose. Okay, so I guess we'll keep adding stuff. So here we have... let's put crush for this guy. Maybe, you know, maybe not too... I think I kind of want to bring this down a little bit. Maybe... Nothing too crazy. And I guess, so if we have this off... You know, I'm not even really too sure about this guy. I don't know. I'm going to remove that for now, and maybe we'll come back to that. So we can remove this guy here, so... This is getting kind of intense. This is pretty cool. Okay, yeah, so that might be kind of interesting. Maybe we can, instead of bit crushing, maybe we can do some distortion or something like that. That might be kind of cool. So let's try that, guys. Bringing the mix down for now. Okay, that's kind of cool. So let's go to a new macro page, and macro 4 is going to be this mix, and I guess let's bring this up and see how much we want to do here. Yeah, that's about cool. So I guess dist. Or you know what, actually? You know what? Let's actually remove that. So on our first one, we have this drive. It might be kind of cool to control that as well. That might be interesting. So if we had our drive and we map this to the mix, and maybe we give this same amount, 60, something like that. Because we're kind of saving a macro there, because we're already using the drive here. Might as well, I guess, use it there. Okay, so what might be kind of interesting, so we have this kind of wind thing going, and it'd be kind of interesting to have that, like, ominous vocal maybe in the back. So what we can maybe try, so this is just random thought. So let's make a new oscillator, obviously a new effect stack, a new filter, and probably a new amp. Okay, so good Lord. Okay, yeah, so we need to send this guy to effects 2, send this to filter 2, and also send this to amp 2. So we basically have an init patch, technically, right, with a second oscillator and filter and all that. So like we've done before, we can bring this mix up. Maybe full unison. And then send this to... Maybe we can do some of the formant stuff, maybe add some things, maybe make like the halo kind of sound, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Give it some release here. Maybe a slow modulation on this fader might be kind of cool. So we're going to go with another LFO and bring this on the fader. Maybe something like that. And this is going to be unipolar and slowed way down. And also, let's do free running. Oh, that's kind of cool. So we have this here, and maybe it might be interesting to put in a sub saw, maybe? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so now we can bring in an EQ, and let's see, let's go to a high pass for this guy. Maybe somewhere around there. I'll leave that alone, and then maybe do a little bit of compression. Then some delays. And I kind of maybe want to do that reverb again with the root reverb. Maybe we could send this down the abyss, bring this down. Kind of interesting. And we can put this maybe level on a macro. So instead of dist, we can put like a vocal, maybe something like that. And then drag and drop this guy here. And then go to our matrix and maybe bring this guy up about, I guess, 50. We might have to mix it a little bit. So let's see how this works out. That's so weird. What I might want to do, so it might be kind of cool. So now that I'm looking at my keyboard and I'm thinking, okay, it might be kind of interesting to cut off the first oscillator at a certain key zone just to have the vocals play at the top. Because up here, the noise is essentially the same, but the vocals are not. So maybe what we can do, so this first oscillator is called this noise, just so we know what we're doing. And the second one, let's call this, what was it? Voice? Yeah, voice. Oh my God, I can't even spell voice. There we go. Okay, so now if we go to our zones, we have the noise and we have the voice, which they're spelled actually kind of similar now that I'm looking at these in text. Anyway, so we have the voice. And maybe we want the voice over the entire keyboard, but we don't want the noise over everything. So maybe this guy, I can bring it down even over here. So that's where the noise would really trigger. And I can maybe even just, I mean, you could put it in whatever octave range you wanted to. That's really up to you. But yeah, I think that's fine for this. Geez, that is weird. Okay, so did not expect to make this today. Yeah, so we have a voice, we have a noise. Good Lord, this is a crazy patch. This drive makes it ridiculous. Okay, yeah, so this video is going on for quite a long time now. Let's we're gonna stop it here. So, I mean, hopefully you have some inspiration through watching this, how many things are possible with noise and just Avenger itself. Like, this is basically two different patches in one, so we're kind of layering the noise and the voice, and who knows, you can even add on to this, maybe make like some kind of rhythmic thing or some kind of pulsing thing moving around the stereo field. That might be kind of interesting to do. But yeah, thanks for hanging out and watching this weird patch be made, because honestly, I did not expect to make that. It's kind of weird, but yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.